All right, so we are now live on Facebook with Meller Marketing for LinkedIn Q&A. I've got my music playing in the background. I like to jam to some Pandora while I'm getting work done today. So first, I just wanted to say welcome. I think there's a few of you who may be joining us here today, and I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to join. I think we've got about a minute or so delay. So if you are just joining, you are perfectly on time. I'm going to say welcome and post out on here. And again, this is a Facebook Live, and what we're doing here today is a LinkedIn Q&A. So what I've done is I have shared this out on my timeline on Facebook, and I've been sharing it on LinkedIn. And the idea for today's session actually came to me through a mutual connection. Her name's Tammy. She's an absolute rock star. I'll see if I can give her a tag here so you guys can follow her if you'd like. But Tammy has a company, and she is getting very active with doing some sessions like these as well, and she actually posted, I think it was Tuesday night, saying that she was going to do a Facebook Live the next day, and she was going to do I think it was a digital women in session, and she asked for suggested questions to post, and she had a handful of us that came onto the session, and I connected with one of the fellow attendees, and we might be helping each other out, so I found it really beneficial. So I thought, well, why don't I try one of these? And I've had a lot of success with LinkedIn over the years, and I've launched my business Meller Marketing using LinkedIn, and had a lot of success there. And I've been helping individuals and businesses using marketing and social media, and I specialize in LinkedIn. And this week I had an individual who messaged me on LinkedIn, and we actually met each other through Toastmasters several years ago, and he said that his friend was recently displaced from a position and asked about what services I provided to job seekers. And I used to do a lot more of these one-on-one sessions and sometimes group sessions, especially when the economy had kind of taken a dip back in 2008, 9, and 10. And but I still like to help the job seeker community. So I said, well, I'm not able to book appointments, but maybe we could do like a webinar. He could join the webinar. And I said, well, how about I set this up? So it's a combination of Tammy doing her session this week and my friend reaching out to me saying, can you help my friend who's in career transition? And I said, well, why don't I try to do a live session of this? So welcome if you're just joining us. I am so excited to be here today, giving this a try. You're here in Meller Marketing headquarters. This is one of our wonderful suites that you're in right now, and you can see right above my head here. This is my husband, and this is my daughter, and they got a caricature done at the Taste of Troy event a few years back. And we hang it probably in our picture, and this is the actual picture of Charlotte. Let me see if I can do this over here. That's Charlotte's school picture for this year. So what questions I've received on LinkedIn, and I'm certainly open to taking any additional questions. I've had a few individuals approach me that are using LinkedIn and a little bit nervous because they're thinking about making a career transition and they don't want to alert their employers that they're thinking about making a move. So the advice I am sharing with them is something I would like to share with all of you as well. And that is, there are certainly techniques and strategies that you can use with regards to using LinkedIn, but not alerting your employer or putting your current career at risk with using LinkedIn. So what I would do is, start by getting active on LinkedIn and focus on your network. Focus on building out social media karma, paying it forward, helping individuals by liking, commenting, sharing on their posts, and that builds visibility for you. And, there's a lot of great connections that we all have in our networks, and certainly being strategic about those conversations can increase your visibility. And by doing so, by increasing your visibility, you're increasing the likelihood that people are going to be looking at your profile on LinkedIn. And by looking at your profile, you never know where some of those opportunities may lead. So that's one way. Just start stepping up your efforts on LinkedIn. We all have 24 hours in a day. So if it's very important to you, you will find the time to do that. So I say spend 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn. Maybe that's the first thing in the morning. So instead of going on Facebook first, I know we're here on Facebook and talking about this is a little ironic, but instead of going on Facebook first, go on LinkedIn first. Start shifting your efforts, spending a little bit more time on LinkedIn every day. Maybe it's first thing in the morning. Maybe it's on your lunch hour. Maybe it's you've got 5 minutes before your next meeting starts. Put that time and spend that time on LinkedIn instead of on the social networking sites that are just you and for social purposes. So start there. The other thing you can do is if you go into the job section of LinkedIn, there's actually a way that you can toggle a switch that says, let recruiters know that you're open to new opportunities. Now, I was on a call with someone from LinkedIn a few years back, and it was when this new feature just launched. And you'll notice on that toggle button, it says, something to the effect of, we can do our best to make sure that your employer does not see this, but we can't ensure you 100% privacy. And what the LinkedIn rep told us about that feature was that what they mean by that is if you have a recruiter at your company who is paying to use the recruiter version of LinkedIn, and you as a fellow employee have toggled that switch on, they're not going to see it. Now, however, keep in mind that some organizations will outsource their recruitment function to outside consultants or other organizations. So if they are not an employee at the same company, they can see that you are open to new opportunities. So be aware of that. That's what that means when they say they can't guarantee privacy. The other thing is you have a box in there. Once you toggle it on, you can say, put a note to recruiters. And I kind of think about that as the equivalent of almost a Post-it note that you would put on the top of your resume if you were sliding that resume across the table to a recruiter. So what do you want those individuals to know as they're looking at your profile? So in the case of, call it a stealth job seeker, somebody who wants to be on the down low and not alert their employer, and even if somebody stumbles upon your profile and you don't want them to really think you're looking, what you could say is, I'm not actively pursuing positions at this time, but I'm always open to conversations. And that says, hey, I'm not out there, I'm not actively pursuing, but it's a way of bringing some visibility to your profile. So that was the first question I had in, and I'm just going to say hey to a couple people. We've got, it looks like Ara's on here. Hey, Ara, so must not be anything good on TV today, huh? You joined me last night, so there's nothing better on TV. I don't know about that. I have recently joined the Troy Chamber, and I am so proud to be a member of the Troy Chamber. I was very active with the Troy Chamber as a corporate member when I was with Walsh College, and now that I'm on my own with Meller Marketing, I am so excited to be active, and I'm looking forward to taking full advantage of all my membership benefits and getting more active in your events. You guys do a phenomenal job, so I'm so excited about that. And Tammy, hey Tammy, how are you? So Tammy, I gave you a shout out, for doing your video this week, and I said if Tammy can do it, I can do it, and you make it look so easy. So I'm going to give this a try today. So thanks guys for joining us so much. Really appreciate it. And so a couple other questions that have been submitted to me. And again, if you're just joining us, go ahead and submit your questions. What I plan on doing is we'll continue to do this live stream up until about 10:50 with the video. And then I'm going to close this off and I'm going to open up another instance of this live video for about the last 10 minutes. And I'm going to navigate around LinkedIn a little bit. So I'm actually going to show you some of these features that I've been speaking about for the first 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to pop into my LinkedIn real quick because it looks like, yep, I had someone who wanted to come and can't come. And if you know somebody else who might be interested in the information I'm sharing today, keep in mind that after today's session closes, I'm going to post this video on Meller Marketing on Facebook so you can watch the playback and you can listen to all those tips all over again. All right. So if you have any questions, submit them, but I'm going to keep going through the questions that were submitted by the community before we started today. So I had one individual who is asking about how do you schedule posts on LinkedIn. So I have some answers for you on that, but I also want to give you some things to keep in mind, some caution tips in there. And I think key to success on LinkedIn and really any social network, it's not just kind of a set it and forget it, put things out there and then wait for your followers to come and the likes to happen. You really need to have strong network engagement. Now, having said that, this is not what I do for 24 hours a day. I have a business, you have a business, we all have jobs, so we want to focus on our jobs, but make sure that social media is a part of what we're doing on a regular basis. So what I like to do is I like to do some organic postings where I actually go onto, my phone and I'll post things on LinkedIn when I'm at an event. Sometimes it's a day after event. So yesterday I was at a small business workshop. And throughout the event, I took pictures of each of the speakers, and I got some video clips and some other information. And then this morning, I went into my LinkedIn and Facebook, and I posted it out there organically. So you don't necessarily need to be doing a scheduling tool to do that. You kind of just let things happen as news and information crosses your path. So that's one way of doing it. Another way is a lot of times what I'll do is when I'm reading an industry article, I will also share that link on my LinkedIn timeline. And sometimes I even put that on my business page if it feels like it's a good fit for that there. So that's some ways of getting some organic content going on your LinkedIn. And in terms of scheduling, there are a lot of great tools out there. I haven't been able to find a way within LinkedIn, so I don't think there's a feature yet in LinkedIn where you can schedule posts forward like you can here in Facebook. So in LinkedIn, what you're going to need to do is use a scheduling tool, something like Hootsuite or Buffer. There's a lot of them out there. I've recently changed over to Buffer, and I really like that tool. So what I do there is I try to make sure that I'm not just posting things out on Buffer without having some organic engagement, actually being active on LinkedIn. So what I will do is I may find, an article a day or a few links or, past content, articles, blogs, things like that. And I will schedule those in Buffer, and Buffer will kind of pick the days and times that work best for those postings. So that way I kind of set them out on the shelf, the postings are out on there. Now, there are some limitations with those tools. I found that, especially, I know Buffer and I think Hootsuite's the same way, when you post on any of those scheduling tools, in LinkedIn, you can't tag people in organizations. So I'm going to give Ara another shout out here because Ara, you don't mind me giving you a shout out, do you, Ara? I don't think you mind. You want to make sure that you have engagement with your posts. So there's a formula that I use that is really effective, and if you use this technique, you will never post the same way ever again. So are you ready for this? Okay, we're going to go through NEVA. So N, the N is the first letter. What you want to do is when you are posting on LinkedIn, you want to make sure that you are posting new information. So how are you educating or informing people? Think about what information do your readers care about. I always tell people when it comes to social media, I am a marketer who is active on social media, so it's not just the technical aspect of the sites. I'm always thinking of who is my audience? Why do they care about this? So I am trying to make sure when I post new content that I'm thinking about my audience on LinkedIn. So that's the N. Moving on to the E is the second letter. So the E is engage. So I may post something saying, I'm probably going to do this next week, Ara, so spoiler alert, you're going to get a tag. But I am going to post that I am so proud to be a new member of the Troy Chamber of Commerce. So when I post that as a status update, the new information I'm sharing is I'm joining the chamber. The E, engaging, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tag at Troy Chamber of Commerce and at Ara Tapuzian. I may also tag at Sheila Denstad and at Jessica Minnick. So I'm going to give tags and shout outs to those people. So the great thing here is that when you tag organizations or people, that actually is going to show up in their timelines on LinkedIn. So I'm extending my reach by doing that E, engaging. So use that technique. So we've got N and we've got E. Now let's move on to the V, which is visual. So it's really, I think, effective to have some type of a visual element when you're posting on social media. It may be a picture, it might be a video like we're doing here today, but some type of a visual element. It could be an illustration or an icon or something along those lines as well, but some type of a visual element. Some people like reading, some people process information visually, and by combination, video, can be auditory as well. So some type of a visual element is really going to help that engagement. So now we've got N, new information, E, engaging, and now we've got V, which is the visual. So the very last item in the NEVA formula is the A, which is a call to action. So I want to ask people to do something, to visit a link, to submit feedback, but in some way I'm trying to engage my community within the post. So in the case of the Troy Chamber, what I might say is I'm so proud to announce that Meller Marketing has joined the Troy Chamber. Looking forward to working more closely and supporting Ara and Sheila and Jessica and the team at Troy Chamber. And maybe I post a picture of myself holding up a Troy Chamber logo or something like that. So something along those lines. So I've got those visual elements. And my A might be, hey, are you the member of a chamber? If so, which one? Or it might be, are you the member of a Troy Chamber? If so, let me know of any upcoming events you may be attending, and maybe we can meet there in person. So that would be my A. So going back to the question of scheduling posts and using scheduling tools, if you use a tool like Buffer or Hootsuite, you can't do the tags. So you can certainly do the N, posting new information, but the E you can't do. So you can't tag people in organizations. Now I figured out a couple little workarounds on this. When I'm posting on a company page, you probably know on LinkedIn, on company page posts you cannot edit. However, on a personal page post, you can edit. So what you could do is use the scheduling tool and post those things out and then go back in and edit and add your tags in later. So there's a little workaround there. I know a lot of these little tips and tricks on LinkedIn. So give that a try, but do be aware when you are using scheduling tools that there are some limitations that go along with it, and you can't just kind of put things out there and then wait and have the followers come and the invitation requests and things like that. You really need to keep active within your community of followers or friends, of connections, depending on your network, and make sure that you are engaging with them. So it's not just pushing the post out there, but you want to create some conversations and some dialogues that go along with that. Okay, so we've got a good number of people on here. Hey, Rob, how are you? Diana's joining us too. How are you guys doing today? And Michelle, how you doing today? I don't think we're connected yet, but looking forward to learning and helping you out. There really is only one chamber. I know. I joined you guys first, though, so I had to give you a big plug and a shout out for that. So again, if you're just joining us, we're doing a Facebook Live LinkedIn Q&A. If you have any questions about LinkedIn, enter those in the comments now. I'd love to get a couple questions from those of you who are watching here today. Hopefully you are enjoying this information that I'm sharing with all of you. Hey, Tony just joined. Hey, Tony, how you doing? I was out with Tony and his team at XYZ about a week or so ago, and we had a great time out there, and I've been seeing a lot of updates from his colleagues over there at WXYZ, so really looks like they're taking the tips that I suggested to heart there, so some good things there. So what I'm planning on doing is we're going to wrap this up in about the next 5 or so minutes in terms of the video feed, and then I'm going to close this off and I'm going to start a new Facebook Live for the last 10 minutes, and I'm actually going to navigate around LinkedIn, and I'm going to still have the opportunity to answer any of your questions, but I want to show you some of these techniques that I've been speaking about in the first 20 minutes of this broadcast so that you can actually see some of the visual elements. In the future, what I want to do is actually integrate so I can do within a session a screen share and then toggle back into LinkedIn and then maybe toggle back into a screen share as well. Because the beauty of these things is this is Facebook Live, right? You can see me, I'm talking here, and there's a nice visual element. So it's not just, a chat back and forth, but there's that nice visual and auditory element that goes along with it. So Ara has a question, and that is, how often does LinkedIn refresh the profile dashboard activity? Excellent question, Ara. And what I found, there's 3 sections of the dashboard. If you're not familiar with this, I'm going to show you this when we go into the screen share view in just a few minutes here. But there's 3 sections. So the first is how many people have viewed your profile in the past 90 days. The second one is how many times you have I want to say the second one is the blogs. So articles or blogs, how many times, the last time that you have posted, how many times that has been viewed on LinkedIn. And then the third is how many times you've come up in search results in the last week. So in my experience, what I found is that that first number, I don't know that it updates instantaneously. So if I had 10 new followers, I don't think I'm going to see the spike then. I think it's about a day delay in that first number, but it is people in the past 90 days total. So over time, you can actually see how your activities are focused on, and you're starting to get more followers and people looking at your profile. The second one is the number you can control, and it's almost, I don't want to say within a minute, but as soon as you post, you're going to start to see how many times you've had that post viewed on LinkedIn. And the third number is within a week. Sometimes I've noticed that number goes Tuesday through Tuesday. Other times it goes Friday through Friday. So I don't think it's a perfect week. I think it kind of moves as the week progresses. So good question though, and I pay very close attention to my LinkedIn dashboard, and I like to kind of set goals for myself. So I am always striving to keep that first number at or above where I've been. So if I have 1,500 views, I always want to kind of keep increasing. And I remember it was about 6 months ago, it was about 700 views every 90 days, and I started kind of working on activities, and as I worked on those activities, it gradually increased the number of views on my profile on LinkedIn. And as I started doing more status updates and strategic status updates using that NEVA technique, N-E-V-A, I found that was driving profile views, and it was also driving some of my search results. So pay attention to all 3 of those numbers, and hopefully that will help you out. So I am going to now toggle off of this video. So I'm going to end this session, but if you guys are following and you want to join me into going onto the LinkedIn, stay on the Meller Marketing Facebook page, and I'm going to start a new live video, and in that new live video, I'm going to show you some of the techniques that I've been talking about, your LinkedIn dashboard, and show you some of the profile views and things like that that I've been speaking about as well. I'll show you that job section as well. I'm going to go ahead and close this video, but do stay on the Meller Marketing Facebook page, and I'm going to start a new link right away, and we're going to go into LinkedIn for about the last 10 minutes. Thanks for joining.